Alright, so John Cova with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys how you guys can vacuum juice in the Vitamix. Now, first off, this is the best way to make a green juice, or any juice for that matter, on the planet. I've been selling juicers for over 25 years, and I am the first person to tell you that vacuum juicing is superior than any other traditional juicer out there. Yes, even the slow RPM machines, twin gears, single augers, however you want to call them, vacuum juicing is superior for two reasons. Number one reason, because a blender has multiple hits on the produce and blows open cell walls much more effectively to a greater extent than any juicer out there, period, right? But that would be a huge problem if it wasn't under vacuum, because as you're blowing open cell walls with the blender with multiple hits, you're also normally injecting and adding lots of oxygen into the juice. Link down below to my video where I share two things that Vitamix does not want you to know, including you literally add lots of oxygen and oxidize a lot of the nutrients in your juice. And I show this to you guys with my oxygen meter that could read dissolved oxygen and how much more oxygen you could put in there, and also the detrimental damage it can do to the valuable oxygen sensitive vitamins and phytochemicals in your juice. Also, it can cause things like enzymes like polyphenol oxidase and other enzymes to basically speed up and work faster to break down polyphenols and other beneficial compounds in your juice. So for that reason, I don't recommend just juicing in a Vitamix. I only recommend vacuum juicing, which is the best way to juice. Of course, if you can't vacuum juice, then I would recommend a slow juicer running at the lowest RPM possible. The Santa 727 is my favorite at this time. That runs at 40 revolutions per minute. That adds the least amount of oxygen in your juice that I've tested to date. So now that you know that the vacuum juicing method makes the most nutritious juice, yes, even over a pure juicer, because that does not grind as well as the vacuum blender will. That being said, your hand squeezing can, in most cases, squeeze as much pressure as a press could, unless maybe it's something like really root vegetables, like a lot of carrots. But generally, when I'll hand squeeze and then put it into my pure juicer press, I get very little extra juice out. So, of course, if you guys want to spend the big bucks and get a pure juicer that also does oxidize your juice more, especially due to the higher RPM of the cutting blade, that is up to you. Link down below to my video where I compare vacuum juicing versus using a pure. I've also compared vacuum juicing to other style juicers on the market, my favorite of which is linked down below, the best 3 juicers of 2022, where I compare vacuum juicing to a Nama J2, which is my favorite juicer, honestly, and the Santa 727, so you guys could learn the differences. That being said, my most watched vacuum juicing episode, and I'll be the first to say that I'm the biggest promoter of vacuum juicing online, although it was not my idea in the first place. I had to learn this from the genius of Tom Dixon, formerly of Blendtec, who basically called me up to his office there in Salt Lake City, Utah area, and he had me vacuum juice celery, and he had me compare vacuum juicing to a slow juicer. And when I first drank the vacuum juice celery, I just thought in my head, oh shoot, I'm screwed now, because this juice to me clearly is more nutritious, tastes better, makes a higher yield than a slow juicer does. And I've been selling slow juices for over 25 years now. What do I do now? I'm like, oh, that's the easy thing. I'll just tell people about vacuum juicing and share with them that they could do it too if they want. But you got to use very specific equipment to get the amazing results. First of which is you will need the proper vacuum blender. So in my original video down below, anti-oxidation green juice, I use the Dynapro vacuum blender, and this is the Carafe for the Dynapro. If you guys can see the Carafe comparison, This carafe is a lot more narrow at the bottom. This is a lot more fat. Of course, this also has a lot more capacity. And really, if you guys want to vacuum juice, my opinion is that you always want to get the largest carafe because that's always going to work best to make a higher quantity of juice. It's not that a more narrow carafe won't work, but it will be more difficult because you will need to pre-cut your produce more and maybe, adjust your recipe more finely than you would with a larger carafe, such as on the DynaPro link down below to my original video where I go in depth and talk about this further. That being said, I know a lot of you guys own Vitamix blenders already and that you don't want to have to buy a whole new vacuum blender to vacuum blend. Instead, you guys buy this kit called the Void-Systems kit for your Vitamix. I'll put a link down below where I do the unboxing and full demonstration so that you guys could learn the difference between traditional blending and vacuum blending with the Void kit. I'm not going to really rehash that here now. But basically, you put a new pad on your Vitamix that is included with the Void kit. You get a new carafe, BPA free, as well as our Void-Systems lid that has dual vacuum pumps that pumps more vacuum than other vacuum blenders I've tested. And now you could vacuum blend in your Vitamix. And I know a lot of you guys want to be able to vacuum juice in your Vitamix with the Void-Systems kit. And I don't think I maybe showed this once using tangerines in one of my videos. But I want to show this today for you guys with making a green juice. It does work, it can work. That being said, I do like the DynaPro, not only because of the carafe, but also because it's automatically programmed. So you can just have it automatically pulse and then go to a ramp up blend. And it'll blend almost automatically for you without you doing anything. Whereas this is definitely going to be more of a manual process where you're going to have to flick some switches, get it to kind of pulse, get everything to go in, because when you guys are vacuum blending, you can't use a tamper to push the produce into the machine because that would break the air seal and then you'd be introducing oxygen. So that is really the difference. The other thing you'll need besides the proper blender is you'll need the best vacuum juicing or nut milk bags. These are called the Alexa's bags, available at alexasbags.com. These are BPA safe, certified juicing bags that are welded in the United States and have a full 1-year replacement warranty. These are oversized. They have rounded edges with no drawstrings, and they have the perfect mesh size to make vacuum juicing easy, and conversely also makes it very simple to clean. I literally take this outside to my sink and just spray it down with high pressure water, no scrubbing required to get them clean. That's what I love. So really, juicing in a vacuum blender is easy because now you just have the carafe to clean, the bag to clean, and then, the pitcher that you're going to be squeezing out the juice in. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys are thinking about getting the Void-Systems kit for your Vitamix, of course, if you have a Blendtec, all you need to do for your Blendtec is just buy this lid, because this lid will fit on any standard 5-side or wild side carafe or 4-sided carafe. So that's an easy upgrade. And for the Vitamix, you have to get this whole kit. And either way, if you guys want to get the Blendtec kit or the Vitamix kit, or even actually the whole vacuum blender by Void, which includes their lid, their carafe, and their own motor base, you guys get $25 off by using coupon code DJ25 at void-system.com. Link is down below this video. And when you guys buy from Void System or Alexa's Bag, they'll share with me a small commission so I can continue to make my educational videos for you guys to show you guys information you're literally not going to hear anywhere else. So if I've helped you out with sharing information to help you make the right choice, make the right purchase, or shared with you guys information that you would have never even thought up or knew because I shared it with you because this is my life, please use my coupon codes. Not only will you save a little bit of money, but also the companies will reward me with some money so I can continue to pay my video editor, my light bill, and of course, buy all my produce and spend my time to make these videos to educate the world about eating more fruits and vegetables and other plant foods in the best way possible. So thank you. So the other thing you'll need to do vacuum juicing is you're just going to need a catch cup. So this catch cup is a 2-quart Anchor Hocking glass measuring cup. They were available at Walmart. They may still be available at Walmart, but also available at Target or other home stores. It's always best to buy this in person. You can buy this on Amazon. Link down below to my Amazon shop where you guys could buy this. That being said, it's going to they're going to charge you like twice as much money to buy it on Amazon because it's so heavy to ship. So just buy it in person, or you don't even need this. This is what I use. You could use any old standard large bowl or even a big pot, you know, or whatever you guys want to use to catch your juice. And then, you know, here is the Alexis bag, my used Alexis bag that I continue to use, that you're just going to basically put in the collection bowl. And I like this bowl specifically because I could just wind the whole bag around the top, so it just goes in nice and easy, so I could dump in my mixture when we're done blending. So today I'll be making a green juice, and I want to show you guys this recipe with you. And actually it was given to me by a customer. I was talking to on the phone. He was like, "Hey John, can I vacuum juice in the Void-Systems craft? Because I already own a Vitamix." And I'm like, yes, you can. It's maybe a little more difficult to do in the Void-Systems kit than the DynaPro because of the craft shape, as well as the pre-programming on the DynaPro. Once again, link down below to that video if you haven't seen it already. But you can do it in the Vitamix with the Void-Systems kit. You just need to do it properly because, once again, you don't have a tamper. So you have to load up and have the appropriate recipe, which actually the recipe he told me pretty much was an appropriate recipe. So his recipe was some cucumbers. I don't know exactly how many he used. Maybe he used 1, but I'm using actually 3 today. He also used an apple for sweetness. I'm using a lime also. He maybe added some ginger, which I don't have right now. He also uses a bunch of dandelions. So actually this is a true dandelion, literally picked out of my home garden. Most dandelion you might buy at the store is actually a chicory, but it's pretty similar. But so this is the true dandelion that I just picked. Like, I think it's like over 2 dozen leaves. So here's the thing, guys. When you guys make a vacuum juice, it's very important that at least half of your carafe are watery ingredients. So what are watery ingredients? So watery ingredients are like cucumbers. Cucumbers technically are a fruit, even though we think of them as a vegetable, but they have a high water content with low fiber content. Apples, another great one, or other fruits are great high water content foods. So cucumbers, apples, you could use pears, you could use Asian pears, you could use oranges, you could use tangerines, you could use pineapple, you could even use celery as a nice watery consistency vegetable as well, right? So you need to have at least half of your carafe of watery vegetables that are cut small so that the blender blades could literally turn them into a liquid. And then the last half should be things that are pre-cut that are not quite as watery. So whether you're going to use leafy greens like we are today, whether you're going to use something like carrots or beets or other root vegetables that are hard and fibrous that won't easily turn into liquid. Like if you just fill this crap with cut up pieces of carrots, you're not going to be able to vacuum juice in it. You will have to add additional water. So although you could add additional water, I'm not a fan of diluting my juices because I want the water from the fruits and vegetables, not some kind of water purifier or distiller, because the water in fruits and vegetables, in my opinion, are superior because they are known as what's called easy water, according to Dr. Jerry Pollack, who's done a lot of research on this. And actually the water hydrates us better than just water out of your tap if it's from fruits and vegetables. So that's the main thing. You got to have watery fruits or watery vegetables to make this work. And this recipe is pretty optimized because we got 3 cucumbers, an apple, and the lime, which is the watery part. And then we're just going to put in a bunch of greens on top. So the most important thing is loading up the blender carafe properly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the cucumbers, and I'm going to slice them the lengthwise way, once and twice. So we cut them into 4s, and I'm just going to go down the line and cut them into littler pieces. All right, so that we have all these little cucumber wedges there. It'd be better, you know, the smaller you cut it, the more effectively and the easier this will work for you. So I do recommend you guys cut things small, and that's going to be like the learning curve part of this. Maybe this time I'm going to cut the long direction like 3 times. Maybe we're going to try to cut it into cubes. That might have been a little bit better. All right, so we got all this stuff pre-cut. Drop it in the blender. All right, last cucumber going in. All right, so you guys can see basically 3 cucumbers filled up a lot of the carafe already. Now, the smaller you cut, the more, you know, Tetris-y you could kind of get with the cucumbers, the more you could fit in, which will be actually a good thing. Once again, that's why I like the larger carafe, a lot fatter, wider, and holds a lot more capacity, so you could blend up more at once easily. I think next step I always like to, we're going to take this and we're just going to tap this down to try to get a little more Tetris in there, get a little more tight. It would have helped if I cut the bottom ones a little bit smaller. All right, next up, we're just gonna go ahead and cut that apple into pieces. All right, we got that apple cubed up and loaded in there. We still got a little bit of room. Oh, we still got the lime, so let's go ahead and put the lime in. I'm gonna peel the lime today, but you could put it in skin and all, so we're just gonna cut this into small pieces again. All right, got that lime cut up. We're gonna add that in. All right, not much space left, so now we're just gonna go ahead and cut up the dandelion. So don't just cram the dandelion in there. We're just gonna use a chiffonade technique and kind of cut it up in a little small bits, right? So I cut it in half once, put them together, and then I just go along and just cut them into little bits. Now, the other thing I'm going to recommend for you guys, if you guys are going to be vacuum juicing, you guys want to get some sharp and good knives. So I've researched it. Trust me, I've been cutting produce for over almost 30 years now. And the knives I use are the Carafe ceramic knives. They never need sharpening. They are quite sharp. They will break if you drop them. But this knife happens to be my favorite knife. It's the Carafe micro serrated tomato knife. I break these every now and then, so I always have a backup on hand. But these are the knives I use to basically make cutting things easy. If you're like a stainless steel guy and have a knife sharpener and sharpen your Wusthof knives or some high-end knives, you know, you probably could get better performance than these. But for your average Joe that doesn't like to sharpen knives, that doesn't want to deal with it, that just wants something good that works, right? The Carafe are it. Link down below to my Amazon shop if you guys want to get the recommendation on my specific knives I use myself. I would recommend you guys get this in a kit where it comes with a little small paring knife, non-serrated. This knife, the micro-serrated tomato knife, and then a large chef's knife. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and continue to cut this up into little bits. All right, as you guys can see, we got some dandelion confetti now. So last step, we just got to go ahead and fit all this dandelion confetti into the blender. All right, so we got all the dandelion in the blender, and it looks like we basically overloaded the carafe. So probably the better recipe would have been like 2 cucumbers, 1 apple, 1 lime, and then all the dandelion. Of course, you may need to adjust this accordingly. But yeah, that's the reason why I don't like the smaller carafe. You can't do quite as much. And the most important thing is, when you put the lid on, you got to make sure that the lid seals so you can't have any kind of leaves too close to the top. All right, so once I got all the leaves in there and pushed down, we're just going to go ahead and put the top on, the Void-Systems top. So we're just going to go ahead and push this down. And sometimes when you push it down, it's airlocked, so you need to lift this little tab up. While you push it down, it'll let all the extra air out. And then the most important thing is you want to go ahead and inspect the gasket and make sure there's no leaves or anything kind of going into the gasket. It looks like we're pretty clear except for 1 leaf right there. So we're just going to go ahead and pull this up and reseal it. All right, looks like we got a great seal. So next step is we're just going to go ahead and press this on button there. It's going to turn on, and then we're just going to go ahead and press the go button right there. You guys can hear dual vacuum pumps are coming on, which is then pumping this down to 20. As you guys can see, it's at 9, 10, 11. This pump is significantly faster than like the Dynapro vacuum pump or other vacuum pumps I've used. Most vacuum blenders only have a single pump unless you spend $2,000 on like the Kuvings, and they have multiple pumps as well, so it vacuums quite quickly. But this is one of the fastest vacuums in the West. And look at that. It's already done before you even know it. Once it gets to 20 or the preset you set it at, this one is set at 20 because this is a high pressure lid. This is not yet available. I am beta testing this. It'll cost $100 more than their current lid, which may get anywhere from 16 to 20 depending on where you live. Closer to the sea level, we'll get a higher number. If you live at more altitude, it'll get a lower number. And there's no guarantees on the number it should reach, but most lids should reach at least 16. Another thing that happens is when you're blending, some of the oxygen may come out of the food as you're blending. Most vacuum blenders, this will kind of get mixed in with the mix you're making, whereas on the Void-Systems, because it continues to pump on and come back on, should the vacuum fall, it'll immediately pump out the extra oxygen to ensure you get the highest quality blends. That's one of the reasons why I love the Void-Systems kit so much. The next step, this is probably one of the most complicated parts. You're going to set this on the blender, and now you need to get this whole mixture to blend up. So that's going to be a little bit fun. So what we're just gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this on the high, and then we're just gonna go ahead and pulse blend this to try to get it to blend up. So you can see I got all the stuff at the bottom turned into a liquid. And then we blend it a little bit, let it stop. We got more liquid created. As you guys can see, it's dropping down. All the cucumbers are turning into liquid and the cucumbers are dropping down. We'll continue this pulse blending. You guys can see finally the apples are dropping in. All right, but you guys can see here some of the apples and the greens were packed in there, so they're not dropping in. So then I'll stop the blender, and then I'll tap this down to try to get it to fall in, because once again, we can't use a tamper. All this time, the vacuum pump is still continuing to work to keep us at the 20 or the mark that you have it preset at. And then once you got it to drop down, you could blend them more, and I'll still do the pulse blend technique. Might have to tap it down a little bit, get all the air bubbles out. All right, once it looks like it's starting to blend, then you can just put it on full blast. All right, we literally blended for, I don't know, about 30 seconds or so, and now we have a nice, literally smoothie texture. And you can see the vacuum pump is still going. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hit the off button. And now it's just going to stop, and now we could go ahead and release the vacuum. So we're going to pull this little red tab up, and I want you guys to look at this mixture and listen carefully. We're letting all the air rush back in. I know what some of you guys are thinking. That's the same as blending, just in a traditional blender, because you're just blending in oxygen all the time. You're putting oxygen back in there, so now all this is null and void. No, guys, that's not how it works. I know that's how your simplistic mind wants to make it work, because you don't want to spend money to upgrade your blender to take you to the next level, because you don't understand it, because you haven't drunk vacuum blended smoothies yet compared to traditional smoothies. Vacuum blended smoothies, you're swallowing less air, you're getting more nutrition, you're getting more vibrant colors, you're not getting the separation, you're going to get better storability. I know you've all made that banana smoothie that you made in the morning. You made too much, you couldn't drink it all. You let it sit for a couple hours, you go back to drink it, it tastes horrible. That's all the polyphenol oxidase oxidizing the polyphenols in there. That makes it taste horrible, and you're also tasting less nutrition. You can store things more effectively when you vacuum. Because here's the thing, when you're blending, you're not blending in all the dissolved oxygen that literally makes your level go up. It's all that dissolved oxygen that is really doing the damage, not the little amount of oxygen going in that is now only touching the top layer. It's still not touching all below, because we don't have all the dissolved oxygen in the blended mixture itself, whether you're making a smoothie or whether you're making the vacuum blended juices like I'm sharing with you guys. So once you have this little lid, held up, then I basically get my finger underneath and lift the lid off. Now the thing I want to tell you guys is that when I put the lid on, 2 pieces of leaves were literally stuck under the lid. So 2 leaves did not get blended. So we're just going to go ahead and give you guys full disclosure and pull those out. They were stuck on the gasket, so they didn't get blended fully. So we're just not even going to use those. And then next up, we're going to go ahead and pour our blended mixture into Alexa's bag. And to help assist, I have the world's best spatula here. Actually, this is made by Blendtec. When you sit it on the counter like this, it doesn't touch the counter, so it doesn't get dirty. I think they discontinued these. That was sad, because this is my favorite blender spatula ever made. So we're just going to dump this mixture in there, and then I use a spatula to easily go around this square carafe, right, to get all my mixture out. All right, so we've done a pretty sufficient job getting all the mixture out of that blender carafe. So now we're down to the final step, which is literally squeezing it out with your hands, right? Not only will you get a workout, you use some dexterity and build muscles in your hands, right? It's going to be kind of a fun experience. It's like you're milking a cow, but we're just actually milking the vegetables. So I basically like to turn this Alexa's bag to kind of like lock it off so that pulp doesn't come back up. And then I'll just basically wring this out. It's just super simple. This does not take a lot of strength, guys. And I know some of you guys are thinking, John, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I want to buy a press. So yeah, surely you could buy a manual jack press. I find those to be more hassle than they're worth. Yes, you might get an extra half an ounce more juice than squeezing it with your hands, depending on what you're squeezing out. But also you have a lot more things to clean. This is just really simple, and actually I find my hands, unless I'm wringing out something like root vegetables like carrots, right? My hands do a great job on all watery fruits as well as leafy greens, right? If I put one carrot in here, this wouldn't be an issue, but if I did a high carrot recipe, that's when it does get significantly harder, and that's when it would be more beneficial to have some kind of press. And look at that. Without even trying, I'm almost up to a quart of juice out of all these greens. All right, once we get to this point, then I'll turn it over, and then I'll just basically wring it out like hardcore. Even get more juice out. All right, we rinsed that down pretty good. I could probably keep going and get more drips, but at some point, it's like the point of like no return where you're really not getting that many drips out for the force you're exerting. You know, of course, a press could get a little bit more juice out, but not much. This is really efficient using your hands. And then what I like to do is I like to basically tap this bag down just like that, and we're going to tip this out and show you guys what's left. All that produce literally was turned into this much pulp, and I guarantee this pulp is drier than any juicer in the world, except maybe a Pure that'll get it a tad bit drier. But I could take this pulp and squeeze it, and there's no juice squeezing out. I'm just squeezing the pulp. I would not call this sawdust dry pulp, but this is pretty doggone dry, guys. Just using your hands. So now let's see how much juice we actually made. We got basically a mason jar, 1 quart, 32 ounces. Let's go ahead and pour this juice out. The other thing is that this juice is a really nice, fine consistency. It's a pure juice, but it's a little bit thicker than a juice made in a traditional press style juicer because the pore size on this bag is larger than press cloths that you use on presses. So you're actually going to get more nutrition using this bag because you can actually kind of see through this bag. So you're going to get more larger pieces of the soluble fiber and as well as phytonutrients to come through this bag instead of a press cloth. And that's another reason why I don't like using press cloths. Now, I did try to use this in my pure juicer, and it did work once, but the issue is because the press pressed it so hardcore, it literally pressed the pulp into the pores of this, and then I couldn't get it clean, so I basically had to throw this away. And look at that. We made literally 1 quart of juice, filling this to the maximum that we could fill it. So I'd say that's the maximum you can make, man. You fill it out and you get the rhythm. You start, I mean, the first time you do this, guys, it's going to be a little challenging. You're going to be like, oh, it wasn't as easy as John showed. Well, that's because I've done this a bunch of times, right? You got to like learn how to do it. You got to like, you know, cut things small. Oh, I didn't cut things small enough. Cut things smaller. It drops in, turns into liquid. Oh, I put too much greens or too much carrot in at the top. You know, make sure you have at least half of the stuff is like watery fruits or watery vegetables. All different kinds of fruits. You know, citrus, apples work great. You can even use watermelon. Watermelon works great. Any kinds of fruits. This is the best way to juice fruits because you're going to retain the most fiber in it. And also, of course, if you got to add the leaves or the carrots on the top, you know, they want to be a lesser percentage. Also, the leaves are very easy to squeeze out like I showed you guys because they turn into nothing. And also the particles on these are the smallest size ever, better than any juicer out there. But if you're doing the roots, you know, that's when it can get a little more difficult to press out. So, you know, this would not be my #1 choice for making like carrot juice, for example. But if you did want to juice carrots, this is what I would do because you could make carrot juice like in a traditional juicer and then fill it up with 32 ounces of carrots from your slow juicer and then vacuum juice the rest of the carrots because now you're using the carrot juice liquid as the liquid to get the rest of the carrots that you've already cut into little rounds to blend up. And if you're even more lazy than that, you don't want to make juice with a juicer, just go ahead and buy you some organic pasteurized carrot juice from Sam's Club. That's what I do in a pinch when I'm traveling and I don't bring my juicer with me. Fill that up with like the, you know, the carrot juice pasteurized and then add it to the carrot rounds and then blend that all up and then squeeze that through a bag, right? You're still going to have 100% carrot juice. It's just now mixed pasteurized versus raw juice, which will have its own sets of pros and cons. But you know, here's the thing, guys. I'm here to provide you with solutions so that you guys could juice in the best ways possible. I don't care what different machine you get. I just want you guys to experience the power of fresh made juices. Whether you get turned on by, man, John, vacuum juicing's the best, I love it, I get the driest pulp, the most yield, and actually I can get in for pretty inexpensive, right? Because I just add this onto my vacuum blender and have the most nutritious juice that most people don't even know about because they don't watch my videos. Anyways, I just want to get you guys excited about juicing because it has changed my life and can change your life too. Let's go ahead and do a taste test. Wow. That's a good recipe. To me, that has too much lime in it. I mean, I suppose the lime is probably a good thing because it really cuts the dandelion because I'm tasting like the acid lime. Although I do taste the bitter of the dandelion, but I suppose if I did have ginger, because I didn't pick any up today, if I had to ginger that would probably balance it out because the ginger and the lime would balance out the bitterness of those hardcore dandelions, which are great for liver detoxification, which is something I believe we all need in this day and age. So anyways, you guys saw how you guys could vacuum juice with the Void-Systems kit up to 32 ounces in this very video. The most important thing I want to reiterate is pre-cutting things small and having enough watery fruits and vegetables to get it to blend. This wasn't much of an issue, and then of course having the technique of the pulse blending to get it to drop in. You may need to take the crap off and tap it down if you cram things in there too tight. But yeah, it totally works. It can be done. It's not a big issue. And I want you guys to start vacuum juicing with your Vitamix if you haven't already experienced it. Also, of course, once you make the juice under vacuum, you could store this under vacuum. It'll easily store for up to a week. Link down below to my video where I share the special tools I use to vacuum, seal, and store my juices. If you guys don't want to watch the long video, just link down below to my Amazon shop where I have the special lids and the vacuum pump. The Waterty brand is the brand I recommend that has the strongest vacuum pump on the market at this time until the pure vacuum pump comes out actually later this year, and I think I just got the sample in the mail that I haven't opened up yet. So if you guys want to upgrade your Vitamix or get the Void-Systems lid for your Blendtec, or even get the Void-Systems whole blender so you guys can now vacuum juice and make more nutritious, higher quality, the most yield, the driest pulp out of your fruits and vegetables, make sure you guys use that coupon code DJ25 at Void-Systems.com. That'll save you guys $25 off any of the different kits they offer. And then Void-Systems will share with me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos where I go a lot deeper and share my knowledge that I've learned over the last 29 years where I've been juicing and eating a plant-dominated fruit and vegetable-based diet. Of course, also you will need the Alexa's bags. Don't try to cheap out, guys. Don't go and buy some cheap nut milk bags or don't use old pantyhose, which you could do. Get the right tool for the right job. I've tested different kinds of nut milk bags over the many years, and the last ones I were using, I broke them. I broke the bags. It's like when you're breaking something else. But nonetheless, I don't want you guys to break bags. I want you guys to have the easy experience, easiest time cleaning, and the most hassle-free. And the Alexa's bags truly are the bags you guys need to buy. Buy a couple spares just in case, just to have them on hand. They ship over to Europe because you can't get anything like this over in Europe that I'm aware either. So yeah, check them out at alexasbags.com to purchase the Alexa's bags. 1-year warranty. I don't think any other nut milk bag has a warranty on it because Alexa's bags, they know these bags are durable. So if you guys enjoyed this episode today, learning how to make vacuum blended juice with your Vitamix, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other Vitamix owners and other people that want to make green juice or that are into making green juice so that they can learn the best way to make green juice. It's not with a juicer as much as I sell and promote juicers. I'll tell you it's with a vacuum blender because number one, once again, I'll repeat, you're going to grind up the cell walls of the produce to a much smaller, finer level and blow open more cell walls because you have multiple hits with a blender, whereas you get basically a single hit, limited hits with a juicer. Number two, you're doing this without oxygen, so you're not going to oxidize the valuable oxygen-sensitive phytonutrients and vitamins in your juice. And of course, you're also going to get the driest pulp and the highest yield. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what new juicers or vacuum blenders or equipment I'll be unboxing so that you guys can process your plant foods in the best ways possible to get the most abundant health ever. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check the past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 800 episodes on this channel at this time. Share with you guys all my knowledge I know about juicing and comparing and contrasting all different major brand juicers out there so that you guys could get the right equipment for you. Links down below where I compare vacuum juicing to other style juicers on the market so you guys could learn the difference. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.